So I didn't know that Oppenheimer was 3 hours long, and I said that I was going to see it, and now I don't know if I can see it because I'm offended by that runtime. Clemente, you saw it, right?
Yeah, I saw it over the weekend. Yeah, 3 hours is actually insanely long, especially like where I was watching it. It had no AC. You're just suffering through, just sweating to grind.
So first of all, I've never, besides when we've called out NFT projects as rug pulls and people that own said projects get so mad because when you talk, you say anything negative about something that somebody owns, like when they have any financial investment at all. I mean, look, we learned this with Bodagos. There was a guy that was down $30 on Bodagos, and he was acting like we were the biggest assholes on the planet because he was down $30. So like I learned a lot from that. I had never experienced that before. I did not know that being down $30 in crypto was grounds for us to light the town ablaze. Like I thought we were gonna have a riot. But anyway, when I talk trash about Christopher Nolan films, people literally are responding. There was one guy that was like, "Pio's changed." I was like, dude, just because I don't like Inception and Interstellar doesn't mean that I'm a different dude now. I don't know if I can see it. I got Jack GK on stage right now. Jack, I saw you tweeting that you saw Oppenheimer. Am I right?
Yeah, man. Honestly, it was very similar to eating vegetables, but only if that's all you ever ate. So it's good for you, but
Is it?
does not eating vegetables is technically good for you, but doesn't mean you're going to enjoy the experience. And I think that is how I felt after seeing Oppenheimer. I think he's like, as a director, he's got this really annoying thing of like being so abstract with his filmmaking that you have to pay super close attention just to follow the thing. But honestly, it wound me up something crazy. By the 3 hour mark, I was like, nah, I'd much rather have just watched Barbie for the second time this weekend.
Kicks, you're sporting a pink, what is this? Is this a pink polo or what do we got going on here? Is this in honor of Barbie? What's going on?
Yeah, just sporting Barbie. Because Oppenheimer just sucks as a film.
Did you see it?
And no, I'm not going to sit down for 3 hours. Just not worth my time. I honestly think that in the future, people will be legally allowed to compress videos. So I would watch the 45-minute version of Oppenheimer. I think the movie can probably be 90% as good, 45 minutes long, right? And I could just watch that on YouTube. Way more quick, a lot more action. Get right to the nukes. I want to see the nukes dropping 15 minutes in, okay? And then give me the backstory.
Get the TikTok live girl below it to keep you engaged, so it's
exactly
half and half.
Yeah, yum, yum, nuke bomb. Nuke bomb, kill them. Boom, 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 boom. Oh World War II over. Back-to-back world champion.
Okay. That's Kicks impersonating the TikTok non-playable character, the NPC streamers that have blown up huge in the past couple of weeks.
I think Kicks, though, has something here, like with the movie breakdown. If you take Oppenheimer and put it into 3 1-hour episodes, it becomes significantly more digestible. You do it on HBO, you do it on Paramount, you do it wherever the hell you want to drop it, and you release them every Sunday at 8 p.m., 9 p.m., and I think the conversion rate is much higher. Leave a little cliffhanger at each section, and I bet you it grosses even more.
10 times.
I mean, it could happen. We got people supporting me at this point. Coach said that he saw both and that he says Oppenheimer supports my opinion. Well, there you go. That's what I'm talking about. Well, look, what else happened this weekend? Did anybody see the other movie? I guess like the Kicks. Did you take your daughter to the Barbie movie?
No, I didn't. Movies with young kids is it's really terrible. It's not fun. Best case scenario, you got them in the seat eating candy and popcorn for 45 minutes. And then it's like, let's turn this into a gymnasium. So I got maybe one movie a year, but I'll wait for it to come out on, I mean, see, like I have levels to movies, right? Like there's movies that I'm willing to risk the biscuit to go to the movie theater. There's movies that I'm just going to wait and maybe buy it or wait to rent it or wait till it's free, right? So like Super Mario, I went to the movie theater for that and I bought it. I mean, it was that good. Also, I think Nintendo, they're not the kind of company just to like give it away for free. Like you ain't going to be able to, that's not going to be streaming for free on Paramount Plus for 6 months. You know
Kicks,
what I mean?
I don't know. I watched the whole Super Mario movie in a reply comment on Twitter. Somebody had uploaded the
let me
full
know because
film.
I'm going to make sure that guy goes to jail, okay? Because he's messing up with my thesis.
Oh, Yeah, it was pretty good. I will say I really enjoyed the Super Mario movie. I was pleasantly surprised.
It was amazing. Barbie, I'll rent. I'd pay $3.99 for it. Oppenheimer, they're gonna fucking ship that shit straight to the free streaming services pretty soon. So I'm gonna wait to get that thing for free.
I don't think they will, because the Hollywood puts Nolan on like this pedestal. I mean, look, the trailer makes that movie look crazy. The fact that it's 3 hours long just means he should have trimmed at least a half hour, and I don't even have to see the movie to know that. But I'll probably see the movie so I can just express a strong opinion on here. Yeah.
Do you know 1917 or Dunkirk? I forget which one, but they have like the single shot where he's like running out of the trenches and everything.
1917, but that's not Nolan.
Yeah, but like great scene, and then 90% of it is just boring fluff. It's, you know what I mean? Like those.
I like that movie. That's Sam Mendes. That's a pretty good movie. That's not Christopher Nolan, blowing smoke in my face for 3 hours, Real quick, Twitter is changing the logo to X. Elon is taking the logo from one of the commenters on his post, I suppose. And we're seeing the rebrand of Twitter right before our eyes. What do you guys make of this? I mean, Kix, you're a longtime social media guy, Facebook ads, and you've been in the advertising game for a long time. What's your honest opinion on everything Elon Musk and Twitter Spaces related?
Yeah, I mean, first of all, I think it's super interesting. He just like took the guy's X. Like, does he get paid money? Was that, a contract signed, or he just kind of ripped it? I feel like with a, $40-50 billion company, you want the lawyers probably, right? To have a quick conversation with the guy and make sure you got rights to it. But I mean, dude, go for it. Like, rebrand it to X. I mean, definitely Twitter tweet has a lot of brandability to it, but dude, he's already doing Twitter his own way. I mean, might as well let him, keep rolling with it. I just love that, like, people think that he's a stupid person. And I'm just like, the guy that had his hand in PayPal, then Tesla, then SpaceX, right? Not to mention all of his other investments that probably did well, worth over $200 billion. Tesla's worth over $800 billion. It's like the 5th or 6th largest company in the fucking world. People are like, this guy's a fucking idiot, dude. He's got no idea what he's doing. That take just makes no sense to me. I'm just like, that's the stupidest thing ever. Like, it's so bizarre that it's a contrarian take to say that Elon Musk probably has a pretty good degree of competency with what he's trying to do. I mean, X is going back to the first company he ever created that got bought by PayPal. That's why he owns a lot of PayPal. That's the first company. And he actually bought it back from PayPal in 2017. So this guy's been scheming about this for 6 years. He's probably tying it all together. Yeah. So he's probably trying to build the modern day financial system with X or something like that. So, I mean, it's going to be interesting. At the end of the day, at least it's entertaining, dude. A lot of these CEOs, they're boring. At least he's interesting.
That's true. No, that's definitely true. Easy. What do you make of this whole X thing and just the state of affairs with Twitter in general?
Yeah, I mean, it's definitely showing that, like, he's dead set on his ways. Like, there's no telling him he can't do something because he's going to do it anyway. I think what's interesting with Kix's thing is he actually wanted to name PayPal X. Was like, that was one of the first things he wanted to do. And then it got bought out. And I think there was some even speculation that it got bought out because he was trying to rebrand the whole thing. The funny thing that happened on the timeline with it, though, is a certain video application called X Videos was suspended because of it. So that occurred, which is a XXX video platform. And because then everyone said that they're now an X Videos creator, basically all of the Twitter content creators kept saying this. They then suspended the X Videos account on Twitter. So that was like the one funny thing that just kept happening was like all the questions about it. They're like, so are we sending X-rated content now? Like just like playing into the whole name, like the nomenclature. And then someone even said like, so they're not tweets anymore. What are they? And Elon said X's. And it was just like interesting. We saw a bunch of ex-girlfriend jokes throughout the timeline because of this. People saying like, oh yeah, you're just like everything reminds me of her, and showed the X logo. Like it was some funny stuff like that was just like really leaning into it. So I mean, if anything comes out of this, there's at least some great content and engagement happening across the platform that's spreading beyond just this. And to Kix's point, everyone now calling him an idiot, it just gets more press. Like we saw the other app that Meta released is now down 90% of user engagement and daily active users.
Who could have seen that coming?
Yeah.
Are you not acknowledging the name of that?
No, we don't acknowledge the name. No, it'll get a shadow banned on X. So we don't acknowledge it. We refer to it as the other app. And what's even funnier though is people continue to still tweet that the other app has better engagement and that the algo pushes you better. But like, does it? And like at the end of the day, who gives a shit? Like, For now, there's no
also
ads.
people don't know like the cutthroat things that like Mark Zuckerberg did back in the day. Case in point, with Facebook, he didn't do this with Instagram, but with Facebook, right? You would get a ton of organic, like if you just posted something on your timeline, you get a ton of organic interaction, right? And then he convinced all these people to sign their businesses up. And all of these businesses were getting organic social interaction. And then one day they flipped a switch and they neutered businesses' organic reach by 90% and said, now you have to pay us to do it. That's the kind of cutthroat shit that this guy would do. Elon Musk would never do that to Twitter. But like Mark Zuckerberg just said, fuck you guys, flip of the switch. Time for me to start printing some cash. So it's like, I don't understand why people just like trust this guy as people just, they always have to have someone to hate. And then it's like, okay, wait, now I hate this guy less. Like no one likes Mark Zuckerberg. They just realize media has made them hate Elon Musk more. So then that makes Mark Zuckerberg, the guy they hate less, relatively the good guy.
And they used to hate Zuckerberg too, which is
2016 Cambridge Analytica. They're like, this guy ruined democracy. This guy, I'm never logging on Facebook again. This guy sold our data. Oh, Threads? Fuck Elon. Yeah, let's get on Threads, man. This is great. Oh, Wag me. Let's see what all the brands.
Oh, but I agree.
Bunny, what do you think of what do you think of X?
I think it's impressive. I saw Greg just tweeted breaking news. New social media app X has already passed 400 million users in less than 12 hours. So I thought that was impressive for a new social media app.
But that's a joke, Bunny.
Yeah, I know. It's funny though.
Last thing before we get in, Shark Week starts this week. What do we think? Is this relevant?
Oh, hell no. Dude, that is the scariest thing in the world, bro. I'm good on sharks. There was a video that went viral this weekend of a hammerhead swimming about 4 feet off of shore in Miami. And what was even scarier was the shark was terrified. And some oceanologist commented, the first top comment was like, I'm scared, not for the people that are in the water with this hammerhead, but because that shark is terrified, which means there's something much scarier closer to shore just on the other side.
And easy,
I was
I'll
like,
tell you
oh,
what
hell
it is.
no, I'm good. I don't go in the ocean. The ocean's not for me. I would rather go in space. Nah, Clemente, you got to see this other one. I'm going to send this right now because the video is insane. There's probably 60 people in the water, and this hammerhead is darting and flying and cruising around these people. It's the scariest thing
Easy.
I've ever
I know
seen.
why. I read a news article this weekend that researchers think that sharks have been eating cocaine that's been falling off the coast of Florida from drug smugglers. So we've had cocaine bears. Now we have cocaine sharks coming to you in Florida.
Movie's
That's
gonna
what that
slap,
dude's scared of. He probably went across a great white, just yacked out of his mind. That guy was just like doing 360 spins. Like, don't swim in Florida.
Dude, I'm good, bro. I'm good. You got to see this video. This shark is literally going through a crowd of people right next to shore. Like, look at all the people.
How stupid are these people?
Dude, the shark, that was look how close.
Look how close to the shore he is. Good God.
Exactly. So the top comment is talking about this, and for the people on Twitter, we're watching this video that was posted by Shannon Sharp's burner account. Great parody account if you don't follow it. But this shark is literally in a crowd of people darting around them, going crazy. And what scares me way more about that is that the shark is scared, which means there's most likely a much bigger predator very close.
And Clemente, let's watch this again. So you see the shark starts coming right here. He's going up, right? And then you're going to see a grandpa with 2 kids. Right there he is. Grandpa, 2 kids. He grabs the one on the left, the one on the right in the shark's path. He's like, I need to go save the other one. And then he's like, nope, you're dead, kid. Look, he starts backing off. You're dead. You're dead. Yeah, he chose one grandkid right there.
I mean, look, this is scary as hell. Sharks are like dinosaurs or something. They've been around for like millennia at this point. It's pretty gnarly. They're just evolved killing machines at this point. Easy, do you ever go in the water down in Miami? Like, are you scared of sharks like that?
I won't go in the ocean. Like, I go in the bay. So there's a bay between, like, the way that Miami's set up is like the normal residents live on one side of the bay, and then you have South Beach. The South Beach side, I'm good. I won't go in the ocean. I'm all set. The bay, I'm like a little more comfortable with. I was with one of my friends down here who has a boat, and he went lobster fishing in the bay. And as soon as he got back, this like basically once again made me now not even want to swim in the bay. He was like, yeah, we were lobstering and we were at these rocks, and I looked to my left and there's just a little 3-foot shark waiting for me to shoot this spear at a lobster. And he's like, yeah, I just froze. And he was like, the thing was small, but it's still a goddamn shark. Like, dude, I'm all set, bro. Like, I'm good. I'm all set. They're the scariest thing in the world. I'm
Shark-
terrified of sharks.
Shark stuff's pretty gnarly. Bunny, you have any thoughts on the sharks?
Dude, I just watched an HBO documentary. It's Jaws versus the Megalodon, right? And the Megalodon was insane, man. This thing was 60 feet long. It weighed like 5 tons, and it could swim up to 21 miles an hour. Like, that's incredibly fast for something that big.
Mother Nature's crazy. We also don't understand what's going on in the ocean. I feel like I've heard, this is probably BS, but I've heard like we know more about space than we know about the ocean or something like that. You know,
that's just what Illuminati wants you to
BS.
think. Yeah, because Illuminati says as above, so below. So Illuminati, they like probably know what's going down in the ocean. That's probably where aliens actually fly from. They probably fly out of the ocean. There's probably an interdimensional kind of like warp little thing down in a ravine somewhere.
Well, thank you for the insight, Kicks. Bunny, we're looking at a video of you throwing axes. Is that actually you? And are you wearing a Bored Ape Yacht Club t-shirt in public?
He only wears Bored Ape merch.
Dude, I didn't do laundry, man. It was clean. I hadn't worn it in a while because why would I?
And is that a Sets on Crack hat?
Cats on crack?
Yeah.
It's a Charlotte Hornets hat. Okay.
Well, he just sold it for $3 billion. So
that hat's worth a lot less now. Ladies and gentlemen, today we're going to discuss OpenAI CEO Sam Altman's Worldcoin, as well as Grape and Memecoin, the continued dip in NFTs, especially Azuki, and gambling tokens taking over crypto over the weekend. Wanted to quickly take a moment to thank the sponsor of today's show, Asprey Studio. Asprey Studio is releasing the Asprey Bugatti Egg Collection, an extraordinary fusion of art, craftsmanship, and cutting-edge technology. It's minted by Asprey Studio on July 28th. That's this week. And this collection is going to feature 111 physical eggs linked to generative art on Bitcoin ordinals. This is an ordinals drop. Each egg is meticulously crafted at Asprey Studio's iconic, get this, 242-year-old workshop in central London. Google it, ladies and gentlemen. 242 years old. This is the type of stuff that gets my rocks off. And they're going to showcase 4 egg types with varying levels of rarity, and they're going to be adorned with precious stones. Okay, so this is inspired by the world of Carlo Bugatti. And the quote there is, the purest, perfect shape of nature is the egg. So these masterpieces are going to really celebrate the oval shape in all its splendor. Okay, so the true magic, though, that you got to pay attention to is in the generative art that's powered by Bitcoin. So you know that I'm a fan of that. And the idea is that this is going to ensure the artwork's indefinite existence on a truly decentralized blockchain. I know you guys like that. So you can visit AspreyBugatti.com to learn more. We actually have the team on the show. We're going to be talking to them later on in the show. That is, again, the Asprey Bugatti Egg Collection. Check it out. And if you're unfamiliar, check out Asprey Studios to understand a little bit of Asprey Studio, I should say, to understand a little bit about the history, because I think a lot of people will find it really interesting. We got to go into this weather report. Kicks, please take it away, buddy, and then we'll get into the discussion.
You got it, Coach. Today is Monday, the 24th of July. Total market coming in at $18.4 million. Blur 15.2. OpenSea down bad 2.4. They're probably going broke soon. Leaders, Apes 31.8. Mutants 5.7. Punks 49.4. D-Gods looking strong 8.4. Azuki busted below 5 at 4.9. We got Captains at 5.6, and we got Pudgies sitting at 4. PFP collections continued to bleed over the weekend, with top collections down 5 to 20%. Azuki led the fall, touching 4.5 ETH after Mache dumped 100 plus. The only collection that was up 8% on the week is Pudgy Penguins. Broke the 4 ETH wall, got up to 4.2 on some Comic-Con news. Animal racing tokens hit new highs over the weekend. Hams touched $3, getting to a $30 million market cap before nosediving back to 50 cents after the team was accused of dumping on the community after holding the majority of the token supply. Elon Musk tweeted, "We shall soon all bid adieu to the Twitter brand and gradually all the birds," which I thought was creepy. I think he's going to kill birds. The platform is set to rebrand from the infamous blue bird to a simple black X.
X will center on audio, video, messaging, payments, and of course, powered by AI. Lastly, Worldcoin, a token found by OpenAI CEO Sam Altman, launched today. The project's core offering is World ID, a digital passport to prove that its owner is a human, not an AI bot. Scan those irises and get $100 for free. The coin is up 70% in the past 24 hours with a fully diluted value of $28 billion. Quickly looking over at crypto, Bitcoin 29.2 had a little fake out on Sunday night going up, then it dumped hard. ETH 1850, Solana down in the $24 range. Ape stablecoin $2. Back to you in the studio.
Fantastic weather report as usual, Kick. Some updates from the Nifty Daily Digest, which is the daily newsletter at thenifty.com. You have to have an account at thenifty.com to claim the free NFTs that we give away almost daily, so make sure that you go do that. The Grapes, an NFT collection backed by Animoca Brands, has teased further details about their upcoming Grapecoin, including a 2 billion token supply with 40% allocated for airdrops and supply, and each Grape NFT being able to claim an unreleased amount. So interesting news out of the Animoca camp. We'll see if that is a nothing burger or what the story is with that. Moonbirds released their second animated short, The Rise of the Mythics. It's in collaboration with animation studio Golden Wolf, as they kicked off their Moonbird Mythics last week. I believe Golden Wolf was the studio that Doodles acquired, or
Yes.
something like that, right?
Doodles bought the studio. So
there
they're
you go.
Partnering now for this.
That's an amazing move by Doodles that I feel like nobody appreciated.
Badass.
That's an amazing move nobody talks about, acknowledges, or appreciates. So that was a good one by Doodles right there. Crypto Twitter influencer Pentoshi's NFT collection, Flightless Space Agency, cut its supply to just 3,000 NFTs after demand didn't meet the unexpected 0.2 ETH mint price. We've seen a few of the kind of traditional crypto call them influencers, like the mostly anonymous people that are big on crypto Twitter, but probably poo-pooed NFTs for the better part of 2 years, try to do some drops right now. I wonder if this was happening because at the bottom of this bear market, said influencers have basically run out of money, and because none of these people have jobs, and so they ended up wanting to drop NFTs. I just get a kick out of it because I'm like, you should have done it during the bull run, man. Like, what are you doing? You could have made crazy money during the bull run. What's going on? So I just think it's interesting that all of a sudden people that were poo-pooing NFTs before suddenly want to drop really, really expensive NFTs that don't have any sort of story behind them. I don't know. Easy. What do you make of the Pentoshi thing before we go into Worldcoin?
I mean, there's still a viral meme that went out that people believe Pentoshi sold his account.
Right.
So
and that's viable.
It's actually like, the more I look at it now, the more I even commented on it and was like, the buddy sipping tea gif we have, and said Pentoshi would never tweet this, because it's like Pentoshi used to be a hyper aggressive individual on Twitter talking about trades, the market, bunch of stuff, rarely talked about NFTs, rarely. And now all of a sudden it's like NFT shills. There's these flightless birds. There was a lot of speculation on it about how
wasn't the team taking not like a lot of the profits or no profits from
they took no profits.
Yeah,
no profits.
Why would they do that? Why would they buy his Twitter account to make $0 on the mint, though? You know what I mean?
Royalties,
I guess.
Oh yeah, I'm sure they're gonna make a ton off that.
I mean, it's something. Like, you gotta think too, dude. Like, when you look at this type of stuff, you look at this project, it's already down almost 50%. And to Pio's point, like, launching this right now is like just not the opportune time. There was a lot of speculation on what it was going to be. They said that they were sending a penguin to space, and they fired off a rocket ship that had one of them on it, and it actually went to space, like low orbit. And it's the flightless birds, baby. There was some teasers of like games and video games and stuff that were already using the assets. It seemed, in my opinion, I was like, I think these things could have legs if they sell out. Sure enough, they didn't sell out, just because liquidity is so low right now across the board for NFTs. Everyone has seemed to pivot back to meme coins. And usually that's where the market goes when NFT volume gets a little quiet. Everybody decides to dive into the meme coin mania that happens. And that's kind of where we're at.
Yeah, and I mean, to be excuse me, to be clear, when I was pointing out that it wasn't a great time for someone like this to drop this, I mean, we just dropped our NFT collection, you know, like 3-4 weeks ago, right? So, and there's other quality drops that are coming up. Like you absolutely can drop right now. I'm just pointing out that some of these traditional crypto Twitter influencers basically just had negative sentiment towards NFTs during the bull run, and now out of the woodwork they want to drop an NFT at the bottom of the bear market for a high price with no real story or backing it. It's just I don't really get it. And on the subject of people speculating that this person sold their Twitter account, I feel like that's completely viable, because if you're just building up a large following on Twitter anonymously and people follow you just because of your tweets, they've never heard your voice, they've never seen your face, they have no idea who you are. If you have that skill set and you can build that out, and then somebody actually wants to buy your account, then these people are totally incentivized to do that, because then they can just sell the account and then go start another anonymous account and start that cycle again. So as long as we're going to be rewarding anonymous people on Twitter, then you're going to have that, occur. So look, we'll move on to Worldcoin here. So more than 3 years after being founded by Sam Altman and others, Sam Altman being the CEO of OpenAI, which released ChatGPT, which I'm sure everybody knows what ChatGPT is, Worldcoin announced its worldwide launch. The purpose of Worldcoin, according to the people putting out Worldcoin, is to increase economic opportunity, scale a reliable solution for distinguishing humans from AI, and eventually show a potential path for universal basic income. Very interesting. You can download the World app and reserve your share of Worldcoin and receive your World ID after visiting one of their orbs, which is a biometric verification device. So I think you have to give them like a retinal scan or something. Like they need to have your eyes, like you're giving them everything, right? So Worldcoin has now raised $100 million at a $3 billion valuation in March 2022. That's not that surprising. And there are verification orbs in Mexico City, Hong Kong, San Francisco, Buenos Aires, and other major cities. The token's trading already on Optimism, and it looks like there's a $450 million market cap, which feels small considering we see random BS shit coins in crypto break $1 billion market cap. And at least, although this, say what you want about the backing of this, at least it's not like, something totally worthless, right? Kicks, what were you going to say?
Yeah, I think so. I think that's their circulating.
Oh, got it.
Yeah, I think that's their circulating supply. So they're fully diluted valuation. Like if you at times, like each coin's $2.55. There's 10 billion total coins. So like their fully diluted valuation is 25 billion right now. But like that's circulating supply, obviously way different. But you're right, because a lot of people trade off of circulating supply. So it does probably feel potentially cheap, if anything, with that. But I mean, if you really think about where the world is going in the future, this kind of does make sense. I mean, here's the thing. Like, yeah, you don't want some private company maybe having your retina information, but they're probably going to get that anyways. And let's be honest, a lot of like how many millions of people are like, oh, 23andMe, let me see how much Irish I am. And like you just gave them your little DNA. So like I think that like an eye scan compared to a DNA, like having your little like DNA sequence, that's probably worse.
Well, you also have like Delta Clear too, where they actually scan your eye to just beat security checkpoints. And I happily signed up. I'm already in the system. I mean, I'm not waiting in security. I was flying so much in the last job I was at that I didn't have time. I was like, I'll give up my eye, whatever. I got nothing to hide. You got it anyway. CCTV, if you've ever been to Europe, you're on camera somewhere.
You're on camera somewhere. They have your whole face, like, they can ID you anyways. But if you think about the value of this, so like, let's just look at like gaming, for example, right? Let's say 3 to 5 years from now, AI is so good that it can basically like, you can cheat in any video game using AI, right? And just like play absolutely perfectly, but like pass a lot of like traditional means of detecting if you're cheating or not, right? It's going to be such a big issue, like AI in so many different areas where you're pretending to be a human, but you're really AI or using AI, right? This kind of thing could potentially like help with these issues. Like, for example, right? I can't just keep creating accounts and cheating on them if I need to sign up to this video game platform with my Worldcoin login, right? Because then if I cheat once, then I'm banned forever, right? And I know that may sound weird to some people, but like we are going to get to a point in the future where, like, for example, on Twitter, right? You're not going to know if you're talking to a real person or a fake person because AI will be so advanced. There already are people that are on Twitter that are fully AI, right? You probably don't even know it. There's going to be a real need to differentiate humans from AI in the future, Matrix style. And so like this kind of makes sense in that context.
Yeah, I mean, it's interesting. And then that part of the pitch too, you just covered the distinguishing humans from AI part of the pitch. The other part of the pitch about the universal basic income element is very interesting because if we trend that way, there's got to be some sort of groundwork to do it in a way that works and that isn't a complete disaster that completely barbecues the wealth gap. I mean, this is delicate stuff, guys. This is pretty big stuff that humans are talking about potentially rolling out over the next couple decades. Any other comments on Worldcoin here? Like, is anybody going to trade this coin? Is that even how to think about it? Like, any other thoughts here before we move on?
So you had Sneaky Ninja Pants, well-known trader, talk about what he was doing with this. And I think he actually had like the best play. He was anxiously waiting early this morning for the token release to go live and then immediately made an LP, so a liquidity pool for it. And he's up $2,100 off the LP fees alone just because of the volume on the token. So he did a WETH World Token LP on Optimism and just has been completely crushing that. If you're early on those LPs, it's probably the best way to trade it rather than speculating on where the price goes because of course, Sam Altman has some really ambitious goals here. Universal basic income, differentiating humans versus AI. A lot of things that we haven't really seen where this could possibly go just yet. And a lot of high ambitions and goals. But I mean, for someone who made ChatGPT and what that's done to scale, seeing a new business venture from that same founder is something that's optimistic, but not something that I think is not possible. I think is probably the best way to put it. And I just think that I'd probably miss the trade. I'm not looking to like scalp the token. 10 billion supply is quite a lot. Like, I don't think this goes to $1 type thing. So I feel better betting on cockroach racing, rock racing, rat roulette, some of those other ones that they launched the games and then the devs inevitably dumped the token on the ecosystem. It's a little more fun.
And easy. Did this launch on Ethereum?
No, it's Optimism.
Oh, very interesting.
Yeah, it's an OP drop, I believe.
Okay, cool. So you can buy it on Optimism.
Yep.
You also can probably buy it on some exchanges, I would guess. But if you want to do that LP strategy that you talked about, you'll have to have some cash over in Optimism.
Yes. Yeah. So you'll have to bridge over to Optimism. New chain, never hurts to get familiar with what's going on in those other ecosystems, especially in a very fluid market. So,
and you're bullish on them, right? Because they're kind of, they have the same strategy as your AVAX bullishness, which is basically they're creating like rollups as a service, and AVAX is doing like subnets as a service. So basically, people can build on top of their technology instead of like just being a coin on their main platform.
Chain that then you can actually use a native token as the choice for gas. So you look at AVAX, like HK Planet is a popular AVAX subnet for all of South Korea, and they use the HK Planet token as gas. I'm talking about my nodes all the time. I hold these things called 3ul nodes, bull nodes, and they just launched their own subnet on AVAX, and the token's done extremely well post that. So when you kind of build out this infrastructure and create opportunities that way, the underlying chain becomes even more interesting to me because that's what's actually still powering it all. And eventually you have to burn that new token for the gas just to manage the network, handle fees, everything else. So I think that there's some really cool stuff going on there, and it keeps me hyper interested in like where these chains go and like how roll-up adoption happens and how some of these other things scale and start to pick up.
Yeah, I mean, we'll have to see. Obviously, there's a certain degree of complexity in most of the stuff that you just talked about. Could you explain, like, Sneaky Ninja getting into LP this, like what that actually means if somebody's not familiar with that at all?
Yeah, so I mean, from a liquidity providing standpoint, you basically put up tokens from one side. So in this case, world tokens and ETH. And for whenever somebody goes to an exchange, like a DEX, you go to Uniswap.
A DEX being a decentralized exchange.
Yeah, decentralized exchange. So not a Coinbase, not a Kraken, a web application that lets you swap crypto for crypto without needing to KYC and other things. It's the whole idea of decentralized finance where you own your own assets and have complete control over them. So what you can actually do is, because it's a totally decentralized ecosystem, it allows you to create these liquidity pools to let other people buy and sell into the token at an easier rate. When there's far more liquidity to a token, that gives less slippage, more opportunity for size. So people who have a lot of money that want to buy the token without taking a big hit on the percentages. And then all of these liquidity pools have fees associated to them. They can range from 2 to 10%, even higher if somebody creates one that's higher. Many people typically go like the 2 to 4 range. And that percent fee on every swap that somebody does. So if I go in and I spend my ETH to get World Token and I'm on Sneaky's liquidity pool and he has a 2% fee, if I swap 10 ETH, 2% of that now goes to Sneaky on that trade. That's
ETH. Yeah.
Yep.
And just like, not like caution, but just kind of like what, so people know what they're doing. Like farming LPs, unless you're super sophisticated, is not meant to be a short-term play. It's meant to be, I think that this coin is going to do, it's not going to negative 99% over the next 6 months or a year or something like that. And so I'm going to put my money in and I'm going to earn fees every time people are trading it. You have what's called impermanent loss in both directions. So if the token makes a massive move up or down, you're up a little less or you're down a little bit more than if you just held the token. But that's counteracted by you earning these fees over a period of time. Just an example, remember Botto, the AI project, like over a year ago, I had taken some of the money that I got and I threw it in an LP and I didn't touch it for a year. And over the course of like a year, I basically like doubled or tripled the amount of Botto that I had. And then it got back to a good price, ended up being an awesome trade. So there's a lot of people that do this like farming strategy, but it's not meant for you to be like, oh, I'm going to farm this thing for 5 hours and then I'm going to like pull out and sell. Like it's meant to be something where you're taking a more long-term bet on like this project's going to be around in a year. So I want to farm it and not like just speculate on the short-term price.
Right. And there's a tremendous amount of risk with all this stuff because anytime you get into brand new crypto tokens, the risk level is insane. Real quick, we are going to dive into the winner of the weekend and other things like the progress of certain NFT collections that have been trending a little bit downwards. But real quick, I want to take a moment to thank the sponsor of today's show, Asprey Studio. So if you want to step into the realm of timeless elegance and innovation, the Asprey Bugatti egg collection is absolutely what you want to take a look at. So it's designed to be a testament to artistry, craftsmanship, and collaboration. And it's designed to marry the 242-year legacy. Yes, you heard that right. 242-year legacy of Asprey Studio with the century-old heritage of Bugatti. So it's minting on July 28th. That's this week, ladies and gentlemen. And the collection features 111 physical eggs, each a stunning work of art linked to generative art on Bitcoin ordinals. It's handcrafted at Asprey Studio's legendary workshop in London. The eggs come in various types, each possessing a unique level of rarity and adorned with precious stones. So if you're not familiar with Asprey Studio, definitely do some research on it. I repeat, it's 242-year legacy that you're looking at with that. And the generative art of this collection that's going to be released on Bitcoin ordinals is designed to be a harmonious blend of master artisans and blockchain professionals, showcasing the unparalleled qualities of Bitcoin's decentralized blockchain. So, I mean, look, I'm pretty excited I'm extremely excited about this, I should say. The combination of Bitcoin and the legacy of Asprey Studio and Bugatti, and just the physical, the physical eggs is incredibly exciting from a collectibles and fine art perspective. So in my opinion, this is an unrivaled digital and physical masterpiece. It's a symbol of unyielding innovation and a tribute to craftsmanship that is designed to stand the test of time. So visit AspreyBugatti.com to learn more. Very, very, very exciting drop from Asprey Studio in collaboration with Bugatti. So the winner of the weekend at this point is Pudgy Penguins. So Pudgy Penguins is one of the few collections in the green, up 11% over the past few days to 4.2 Ethereum. The consensus is that they did a great job presenting themselves at Comic-Con. And there were videos of long lines for their plushie crane, and they nearly sold out of their toys. So in the last 30 days, Pudgy Penguins have also added 40 unique owners, which means that they have new individuals entering the ecosystem. What do we make of, post Comic-Con Pudgy Penguins, and what do we think of this W weekend for them?
I think it's huge. I mean, just seeing a massive line at the actual event is awesome. Like, people were very eager and excited for this, which, like, you can't knock at all. You know what I mean? Like, this is one of those things people talk about, onboarding from a traditional Web 2 ecosystem into Web 3 and everything that everyone hopes to do. And it seems like they've really started to actually achieve this. They now have, like you had said, toys selling out at an alarming rate. From what I understood, it was one of their highest grossing days or handful of days since launch, just solely based on them having this presence at Comic-Con. And you saw the claw machine. There was a line literally around the booth, and everyone that I talked to who was there said that the line literally just kept getting longer. Like, that everyone was anxiously waiting. And the thing is, all those toys have a QR code. So on top of it, you're getting a toy, but then you're also, like, essentially getting them into a custodial wallet to check out Pudgy World and doing all this other stuff that I'm like, this feels like a no-brainer to me. Like, this feels like such a big win for a brand whose goal has been to onboard the next however many people through fat Pudgy Penguins, you know, and through toys
Fat
and IP.
Pudgy Penguins.
Doubling down on it.
Is that the mission statement of the Pudgy Penguins organization? Is we're looking to onboard people into the world through fat Pudgy Penguins?
I hope. I think that's really what they got to do. I think if it's not their signature now, they have to change it.
Yeah, I mean, 42% of Americans are overweight, so it's a big market. But yeah, I mean, I own a Pudgy Penguin, and I'm very happy holding that because I feel like there's a lot of projects that are trying to do gaming or metaverse stuff or these different things, which I think have a degree of success, but also are very, like, risky ventures. What I love about Pudgy Penguins is that Luca's leaning into his previous experience and is actually, like, producing, like, results. Like, going to Comic-Con and selling thousands of toys, like,
Big
shows
deal.
demand for your brand and project. And the fact that on eBay, the, like, banana suits are selling with volume at, like, $450 a pop. Like, he also shot a video of his warehouse. Like, they're building up some inventory. They're making some moves. And when I think about, like, what could a Pudgy Penguin be? Could a Pudgy Penguin just simply be, like, the rarest collectible in this world of collectibles that they're building? That's a very easy thing for me to feel confident holding for 2 years. Instead of holding something for 2 years being like, they need to be the next Blizzard of video games, or they need to be the next Sandbox of the metaverse, right? These higher execution risk things. I just feel pretty comfortable just holding my Pudgy Penguin and saying, it looks like Luca's really serious about turning this into a well-known brand, and I own one of the 10,000 most rarest collectibles in that brand. Feel good holding.
Yeah, and I mean, so you touched upon a lot of the collectability and the angle that Luca's taking. One thing that I think is interesting is he's gone on record quite a bit saying that he believes that the key is to do like mass market physical physical toys that aren't just for holders, and then you give an NFT with those to onboard those people versus the traditional NFT model, which is like buy a high-priced NFT, and then that high-priced NFT gives you the right to buy a collectible. I agree with him in the sense that so many brands did it wrong, because then you're just taking people that own an incredibly expensive asset and you're asking them to buy another asset and telling them it's exclusive. But the reality is, if nobody else wants it, there's no value to that. So you're basically paying a lot of money for the right to pay more money. But the thing that I actually think is, I think you're going to end up seeing both. I think you're going to end up seeing what Luke is doing and the traditional way. The problem with I call it the traditional way just because it's what we saw in 2021 and 2022 from NFT collections. But the problem with the 2021 and 2022 NFT collections is those companies didn't do anything. I mean, we're in a space where so many people gave up. It's unbelievable the lack of tenacity from so many people that were quote unquote building in this space. So many people gave up. But when you see people actually come through and actually ship things and really do it the right way, that's when you're going to see a lot of this stuff shake out. So very cool to see Pudgy Penguins have a W weekend. I have a little Pudgy, so I have exposure to Pudgy Penguins. We'll be curious to see what happens next. Comic-Con is no joke. I think those are deep waters in terms of collectibles and stuff, right? Because Comic-Con's been around for 30 years, it feels like. And you got to know your stuff if you go there. So shout out to Pudgy Penguins. People in the audience also pointed out that Bodago's had a big weekend. That's absolutely true. But don't worry about that, guys. Don't worry about that, ladies and gentlemen. Nothing to see there. Seriously, nothing to see there. Don't Just don't be concerned with it. It's fine. Anyway, in the 30 days following the Vegas event, Azuki is down 70%. Damn. The collection hit a bottom of 4.5 ETH before seeing a slight recovery of 4.85 ETH 30 days ago. The collection had a floor price of 17 ETH. That is crazy. That is wild. It's down over 70%. Most other collections have also been bleeding, and Azuki received the 2 ETH airdrop of elementals. For comparison, during the Moonbird's infamous CCO collapse, but that was in a much different market, but during that CCO collapse, which is when Kevin Rose decided that the Moonbirds were going to be CCO instead of owners owning intellectual property, and people felt like it was a sudden haphazard decision that was based on a recent trend. In the 30 days after that, Moonbird saw a dip from 28 to 12 ETH. Oh my God, I didn't even know that number was that big. Almost a year ago today. That's brutal. Beans are down to 0.32. Elementals are down to 0.67. The question is,
and Theo, I could be wrong on this, but I do think that the CCO announcement for Moonbirds came when it was about 17. So it was already on its way down. I'm not positive because I remember it being at like 17 or 18 and we were like on the show and it was like dumping to 12, like pretty quick. But still, like it was like that, a very similar scenario from like top to bottom in the speed at which it went from top to bottom.
Yeah, and Mirzda pointed out, so Dancing Eddie, friend of the show, a really good guy in NFTs, he posted a dancing video at the Azuki event that did mark the top, ladies and gentlemen. I think you should have known that that video was going to be the top of Azuki. That was like a tick the top perfectly. But anyway, I mean, is Azuki going to get flipped by Pudgy Penguins? I have to think so. I have to think so. Am I out to lunch?
Somebody asked me this morning what my target floor price is on Azuki. I said 3.6.
Okay.
There's no number as to why, but that's just why. I think we see sub 4, and then I think buyers step in. We saw like 4.2, and then buyers kind of swept in again. But when you have the people with size, your whales also starting to exit positions, it becomes like almost like a death spiral that's way worse than underwater loans and everything else.
Yeah, because I feel like the Azuki community was like super about like, you know, accumulating more Azuki, right? They were all about like going more in on their project. So I feel like that's part of the reason why the floor price was so strong before this drop. But the challenging thing about this drop is that it was $40 million. It never made it to public. So it was all $40 million from their own community. That's arguably the liquidity that would be used right now to buy more Azukis, right? So like they kind of like took away their the liquidity from the primary buyer of Azukis. And now, yeah, some of those whales still have money, but a lot of those whales are down. Like they put their money into Azuki already. They don't have a lot more liquid. So I think that's the challenging situation that they're in right now. To really get this thing to turn around, they have to attract people outside of the Azuki community to want to buy in.
It's a pretty extreme situation, quite frankly, because the whole NFT space was essentially presenting Azuki as if it was groundbreaking and as good as it gets besides Yuga Labs in the NFT ecosystem. And now the presentation is, I mean, this might sound extreme, but the thing might be a scam. I mean, like they just brought in $40 million. They've been incredible at bringing in massive amounts of revenue, right? The amount of revenue that they brought in is insane. Their primary sale, I think, was $20 or $30 million in revenue. And then their royalties have obviously been pretty damn good. I don't know what the actual number is, but it was not bad between Beans and Azuki. Keep in mind, Beans pre-reveal were like 4 Ethereum with Ethereum at $2,000 or $3,000, right? So it was a very high price for Beans. And then they just like casually brought in another 40 million. Guys, these are big numbers. If you're running a company like this, the staff of Azuki is literally some software engineers and some artists, guys. Right. So you're just bringing in $40 million willy-nilly. That's a lot of operating capital. So we're going to
a ton of cash. You know what you can do with 40 M's? A hell of a lot.
You can do a lot. Let's put it this way.
Way more than if you had 39 M's.
Well,
Exactly.
you gotta pay your taxes, so it's only like 25 million.
So anyway, I mean, look, this is a crossroads where it's literally either a scam or it's something legit. That's literally the fork in the road that we're at here. Jack GK has his hand raised. What's going on, Jack?
Yeah, I was going to say, did Machi dump a bunch of Azuki recently? I feel like I heard that on the timeline, but I may be mistaken. I think the big thing with all of this with Azuki is, yes, like Azuki buyers were buying more Azuki, which was just like a thing. That's what they love to do. They were very interested in other projects. They just want Azuki, and you've talked about that a bunch, PO. But I think with the rares as well, you had the Spirit DAO, which was literally incepted like way back when Azuki first started, which is basically their whale group. And that's all they did initially was buy rares. And now all of a sudden you basically had this elementals drop, which really alluded to the fact that if you have a rare Azuki, you're going to get a rare elemental. Like it was literally within, the mechanics of the project. But then the loot box mechanic that they actually introduced meant that rare elementals went to floor Azukis and floor elementals went to rares. And that instantly, like, why you would polarize your project that way, I think we are just seeing like a continuous sort of like identity crisis with these like whales who really love the project but have seen their actions recently, and when they're putting those two things together, they are a little concerned that actually, they don't hold their whales in as high a regard as they had previously thought they did. And that's sort of my take on that.
Yeah, I mean, it's that, but then also, well, look, the elementals drop could have gone a lot better because people pointed out. So the big qualm was that they look just like Azukis. The majority of the elementals look like the traditional Azuki. So they felt that it cheapened the actual Azuki collection because it felt low effort or whatever. I don't know if I fully buy into it. I mean, they looked similar, obviously, but there was still a lot of, there's a lot of quality art in that collection. The rares are like they're a kid version of an Azuki and different animals, like a frog and a fox. And everybody, like, kind of the consensus was those were pretty good. Those were pretty cool. And people were saying they should have just done the whole collection like that. I don't know how this plays out if they had done that, if it's that much different. I don't know. But I have to think it's a little bit different. The way this played out was extreme, right?
It was extreme, but it was also extremely successful for them. Because just think about, I got flamed, ironically, when I said, I think that Azuki may have rushed this out to get ahead of Ether. And then we saw Ether's mint and how hard, and then think about the conditions right now. Then we saw Pentoshi penguins, right? Like, as much as we can dunk on Azuki, one thing they did do right is they saw the window. They saw the window of like timing of this is when we need to hit the mint. Because I think if they had hit the mint even 2 weeks later, they would have had a lot, maybe even more extreme issues. Now, that doesn't make the floor price any better for the holders. But I'm just saying personally, as like a business, the timing was very interesting. Kind of reminds me of Yuga Labs timing mutants essentially at the Pico top of that run in August into September of 2021.
Yeah, but that mutant one I feel like was less about like rushing something out the door for revenue, although obviously they did incredibly well off the mutants. I agree with you, though, on the Azuki side is that they were definitely trying to rush this out. I said previously during the whole Azuki debacle that the NFT space loves to buy Azuki. We have seen that play out multiple times, right? Because there was bigger FUD surrounding Zagabond before because of his history in the space, and Azuki still rebounded. We will have to see if that is the case again, the NFT space historically definitely did want to buy. We got one thing that we want to discuss before we dive in with our sponsor today, Asprey Studio. So guys, Ubisoft, the video game company, has released their first ever NFTs. Is that correct?
I just posted this in the chat to us as well. I think this is huge right now.
What platform is this?
So it's Tezos. It's on Rarible. They're using the Tezos blockchain for gun skins and gun camos. We've seen the CSGO loot box model be just massive. And these are the first ones that are actually launched for their game Ghost Recon, which is a first-person shooter. Ubisoft has also done things with Call of Duty. They've done stuff with Rainbow Six and some other first-person shooter games. And I was looking at this and I was like, this feels like if they get any sort of traction like CSGO from the gun, skin, and camo market, it becomes inherently more interesting to me. They're about $10 right now. So, like, I'm probably going to take a flyer and forget I even own them, to be, like, totally honest. Yeah, it's, to me, this is, like, they're dirt cheap. But, like, the only kind of negative, like, glass half empty type moment for me is that Ghost Recon doesn't have a big player base. It was actually very big on PSP, which I will say that gaming system was way ahead of its time. Just saying, throwing that out there. But
now, because Nintendo Switch is basically PSP.
Switch, yeah, exactly. So to me, I was like, that is the one thing that is really interesting to me for this, because the gun skin market is so big at the moment. It's huge. Like, you have $100,000 skins going at the moment. You have CSGO knives going for insane value. Literal Twitch streamers streaming just case openings over and over. And this is the first time we're actually seeing somebody take. Yeah, and so now on the screen, by the way, Clemente just shared Dr. Disrespect. He went, I think, 0 of 130 before he finally got a knife on case opens. And now somebody offered him $100,000 for the knife that he pulled. So there's a huge gaming market for these. And CSGOs are technically on the Mythical blockchain, is where they credit the volume to. But the assets are not actually on chain or stored. This Ubisoft one is way cooler to me because they're actually storing them on chain and you can buy them on Rarible. So I think this is, yeah, go ahead.
I have a question. What's the risk with this? Is it that they just make a bajillion guns the way Top Shot did and they dilute their supply?
Yeah, so there's that concern. And then the other concern is there was a lot of drama with Ubisoft over the weekend where Not An Average Gamer and this guy, Penguin Zero, who are two very popular YouTube streamers, both made videos saying this should be illegal. And Ubisoft is actually stated that if your account's inactive for an extended period of time, they'll deactivate the account. The thing that's more interesting to me about that, though, is even if they deactivate the account, because the assets are on chain, you still own them. So yeah, the account could be moved, but that's CSGO's big issue. Is 2 weeks ago, we saw $6 million of gun skins basically just get deleted because of people gaming the system, using gambling sites, and doing other stuff. Where because these are actually on chain, it eliminates that risk. So that becomes way more like interesting to me. Of course, we do also have comments like there is the lack of excitement around the game. I would say like Rainbow Six doesn't have a massive audience. You see Ghost Recon doesn't have a massive audience comparatively to some of the other first-person shooters. Like if Fortnite came out and said these skins are going on chain, I would buy every single one that I could possibly buy, throw them in a ledger and forget about them for a year. Like, dude, I had played Fortnite a bunch and I looked at some of the skins I even have, like, because I was having fun with the game. You can still sell them on the black market. And some of the skins go for a couple $100, but you have to sell your whole account. So that's a bigger concern. It's like you have to basically give the whole account up. This is purely just peer-to-peer exchanging, and CSGO has a peer-to-peer marketplace for this that they control, and they still, however, get a royalty on it. So I just think it's a huge move for the gaming space to actually embrace this when you're seeing so much of an adoption rate for CSGO itself. So that becomes way, way, way more interesting to me from them taking a known model that works with loot boxes and going to an actual blockchain to store and process these.
Well, I mean, we're going to have to see how it plays out. There's a lot of stuff to unpack there. They're only $10, it seems, so not that big of a risk compared to what people are used to doing in the NFT space. They're also on the Tezos blockchain, and so Tezos is gasless. It's a little bit, all the Tezos people are going to get mad at me. It's a little bit janky. It's a little bit of a janky blockchain for sure, but hey, we'll see what happens with it and if it continues to get developed. So ladies and gentlemen, it's time for us to discuss Asprey Studio's upcoming drop, the Asprey Bugatti Egg Collection. Very, very exciting to have the Asprey Studio team on the show right now. Really excited to learn about this drop. Welcome to the show. And what do people need to know about this drop? I think you're muted. There we go.
Hey, how's it going?
Good. How are you?
Yeah, not too bad. Thanks for having me on the show.
Absolutely. So, I just brought up to the audience, that the drop is happening this week. The collection's going to feature 111 physical eggs linked to generative art on Bitcoin. I mean, Asprey Studio, has a 242-year-old workshop in central London. Obviously, there's a real legacy behind this collection. What should people know about, this drop?
Yeah, thank you. So this is a really complex release. So we have the story basically around it is the Asprey Brigade is a long-term partnership, and the Asprey Studio runs that. And the Asprey Studio is split into three sections. We have the design studio in the workshop, which is, as you said, 242 years old. Then we have a members club, the Asprey Studio Club, which is 241 NFT holders. And then we have the gallery, which we just built in Mayfair, and that's a month old. And the Asprey Brigade egg is actually here. It's being exhibited. So if you're in London, you can pop over and see it. So so basically, you get a physical egg made at the Asprey workshop in London, which is we make a lot of really cool stuff. So some of you may know us for making the Premier League trophy, the Ryder Cups, and all that sort of stuff. But most of it is special commissions and one-off pieces and so on. So it's an amazing piece made in central London, which is very rare these days. So I work very closely with Bugatti on a daily basis on making this collection. So we thought, what can we do that's really really innovative, actually really next level, that pushes like the boundaries of the production and the NFT. And so we created the egg collection, which is only 111 eggs, physical eggs, and each one's linked to the generative art in Bitcoin ordinals. So the story around the egg is basically that before Bugatti made cars, they were a family of very famous artists. So Rembrandt Bugatti was a famous sculptor. Carlo Bugatti was a famous furniture maker. And then Etoile Bugatti was the father who started the car company. We actually, one of the things that Carlo Bugatti said was the most beautiful shape of nature is the egg shape. So we kind of took that concept and created a whole collection out of that quote. And we've, on the actual egg itself, we actually scanned in Rembrandt Bugatti's Dancing Elephant, the original, which is in the Bugatti mansion in Molsheim in France. That features on the egg shell of the egg. And then you actually can open the egg up. It opens up inside. And inside is a scene of the Bugatti Chateau, the Type 41, and all of the and the car, the Type 41 Royale, which is the car that this family all worked on together. So it's a really cool story. And then we thought, right, let's link it to something crazy on the NFT, because what we're doing here is, the value is not just in the physical; it's also in the NFT, obviously, if not more on the NFT. And that's where we approached MetaGood. And they were telling us all these great things about Bitcoin. And straight away, we thought we have to do it on Bitcoin. So it's a generative art piece linked to the physical object. And it's the actual oval of the egg on the NFT, but it's backlit by this light that really slowly goes round and creates these really beautiful silhouettes. And that goes round into infinity. But every week, the actual silhouette, they all sync up. Everyone's silhouette syncs up. And then you can actually see the NFT in a different view by pressing a certain key combination. And that provides you with this really cool diamond mesh view. And again, that's fully animated. So, and they're linked by a little chip inside the egg. And so it's a really unique release.
I mean, absolutely 1,000%. And I love you kind of walking us through the Bitcoin side of it and how you thought through Bitcoin as the blockchain. At any point, did you consider any other blockchain, or was it just all Bitcoin all the way?
We looked at Ether as well, but the reason why we went with Bitcoin is because it's really the true decentralized on-chain blockchain, and some of Asprey pieces have lasted over 200 years. They're in museums. Every day there's an Asprey piece is auctioned or it's in a museum. And with Bugatti, I think their oldest car is 120 years old. So the NFT, if you think about it, I've got loads of NFTs. Everyone here's got lots of NFTs. What's the guarantee that your NFT is going to be here in 100 years, that you pass down to your kids or whatever? And so, yeah, there are some solutions out there, aren't there, where they're privately hosted on AWS servers or whatever. But putting on the Bitcoin ordinals does guarantee that the NFT will be there forever, in line with the physical piece. So they sit on uncommon sats as well, and the cursed inscriptions. We actually announced it in April, and we announced this project in April, and we had to wait for the ordinals upgrade to happen as well, because of the tech that we're using. So that brings us today, and there's a lot of R&D on the physical piece as well that we went through. So yeah, that's kind of for us. I think on this project, the Bitcoin, the ordinals is kind of like the gold standard for this project.
Absolutely. And I mean, as a Bitcoin person myself, I totally respect that and understand it. I just also love, really communicating to people the 242-year-old history of Asprey Studio. As far as the mint itself, when can people get this? What does the mint mechanic look like? How does the delivery of the physical egg actually play out? Like, what are some of the details surrounding the actual mint?
Yeah, so there was a first allow list that happened that's passed now. That was mainly for the more expensive, because within the collection there are the eggs start at 20,000 USD, including the NFT, and then it kind of goes up in different levels of rarity. So the egg gets diamonds on it, and the NFT gets rarer, and those go from 50,000, 30,000 to 200,000. So last week we sold the majority of the expensive eggs. There's a few people that we are waiting to get back to. So it's kind of like a long process, because a lot of the buyers, they're in from contemporary and modern art backgrounds, or the private collectors. A lot of them are very new to NFTs and the whole space in general. So we had to go through a long period of onboarding. So now you can apply to go on the waiting list, on the next list that's coming up. And you just put it's on aspreybugatti.com. This is just for the 20,000 USD, the carbon noir egg, we're calling it. And basically it will be first come, first served. And we're going to select a mint date that everyone can connect to the site and mint on that. Well, once you have the NFT, you can then redeem it. At the moment, we're going to do a 1-year redeem window. So you can trade the NFT beforehand if you want, or you can keep it and redeem straight away. So yeah, that's kind of what we're planning at the moment.
Awesome. And that's happening on the 28th, correct?
Yeah, it's 28th is a provisional date. I think it's probably going to spill over to the early part of the week after. But yeah, we're aiming for that. The thing with this project is, because of the physical and some of the people that are buying them, we have to do quite a lot of onboarding, which takes quite a long time across all these eggs. So that's our aim.
Yeah, I mean, it totally makes sense. Anything else people should know about the drop, about, anything that's going into this, what they should do ahead of time? Like, what else should people know?
Yeah, I think the first thing is, obviously, this it's made sound expensive. I mean, it is, right? $20,000. Okay, it is expensive, But for what it is, the physical piece being handmade in London, the last eggs we actually made, Asprey made, were for Fabergé, for the Bond film. And we've in the history of the brand, we've made a lot for royalty as well. So actually, 20,000 for something that is, this was built for Web3 from top to bottom. This isn't like we're taking an existing product and like skinning it, or it's not, traditional crypto merch. This is like a whole new creation for this for the NFT. So yeah, just make sure that when you do apply that, this is something that you want to go into, and it is, you have the funds and so on, and create a clean ordinals wallet as well for this NFT because it's cursed. And yeah, so that's what I recommend if people are interested.
Absolutely. Well, it was a real pleasure having you on the show. Very, very exciting. True fine art coming to the NFT space. People should do research on Asprey Studio and really understand the history. I mean, you did a great job explaining it, but I still think people should fully process the history here. And you talked about making stuff for royalty. You talked about the different things that are in museums that Asprey Studio has created in its 242-year history. When people talk about the thesis of NFTs for fine art, the thesis of NFTs for high-end collectibles, I haven't really seen much that is directly in line with this, like this drop actually come to the NFT space. So obviously, it's a high-end piece, right? It's not for everybody in the space, but if somebody is interested in high-end fine art, high-end collectibles, this definitely checks the box. So really appreciate you coming. Very exciting to hear about the drop, and people should pay attention over the coming week to get more information, correct?
Yeah, absolutely. Also, we have a Discord, Asprey Studio Discord. They can pop in the public lounge, and there's people there to answer questions. And our DMs, we reply to all of our DMs as well. So yeah, check it out. And we also have the Asprey Studio Club, which is it's on OpenSea, and you can redeem a physical signet ring that you can customize. And they're very popular. We've had quite a few really cool custom signet ring designs on that. But yeah, anyway, that's another thing. But yeah, thanks very much for having me.
Absolutely. My pleasure. So, great having you. Ladies and gentlemen, Asprey Studio, make sure you follow the Twitter account right there. Check out the Discord and just pay attention to everything happening this week regarding the Asprey Bugatti egg collection. That's our show, ladies and gentlemen. If it's your first time listening, tune in Monday through Friday, 9 a.m. to 10:15 a.m. Eastern time right here on Twitter Spaces. The show is also available on YouTube, Apple Podcasts, Spotify Podcasts, wherever you get your podcasts. Again, shout out to our sponsor, Asprey Studio. Follow the Twitter account, join the Discord, learn more about the world of high-end collectibles in NFTs on Bitcoin Ordinals, the chain that's going to be around forever. No free NFT today, ladies and gentlemen. We'll be back with those tomorrow.